Hi folks, hope everybody's keeping well. Good to see you. So today we're looking at Katatonia and the song is I Am Nothing. So the format for this video is I'm going to play the song through in its entirety um, and then I'm going to run it through again and talk a little bit about it, break it down as we go. Now this is definitely not a reaction video, so disclaimer. This is a song that I've heard a lot of times throughout my life, but it's actually been a considerable while since I've heard it. Many years, I would say, since I've last heard it. But this is from the album Tonight's Decision, and that album came out in 1999. Now, it probably would have been around then, maybe 2000 or so, that I first heard it and got this album. This was the first. This was my first foray into Katatonia, and so although this is their fourth album, um, I had to work backwards after that. So I mainly got into this, and then Last Fair Deal, and then Viva Emptiness, and those three albums for me were sort of like real staples. As a sort of teenager, getting into my sort of late teen years, it really helped shape me. It really connected with me. Um, yeah, and so Catatonia remained for at least the duration of those three albums. I would have said they were probably my favorite band in those years, and I still regard them as one of my favorite bands. So the reason why we're doing this is because over on my Patreon, we've got a little poll that goes on every month, and this was one of the top voted bands. Now the song is my choice, but it's one of the top bands that was voted for the month of August. At the time that I first heard this, they weren't a band that sounded like any other band to me, to my ears. They really jumped out as sort of unique, and the sort of strong, dark, emotional quality in their music just resonated with me back then, and still deeply resonates with me now. Um, it's interesting to learn afterwards, with a little bit of research into the band, after I'd listened to them, that they were sort of influenced a bit by Jeff Buckley and Radiohead and bands like that. And obviously Michael Lagerfeld from Opeth was involved in this album as well. I think he helped with some of the vocal production. And at least I think he was around in the studio or whatever whenever they were recording this. So big Opeth fan, big Radiohead fan, and massive Jeff Buckley fan as well. Well, massive for all of those, really, to be honest with you. And obviously we've got the Jeff Buckley cover of Nightmares by the Sea, which is a great cover. I don't know if I would say it's better because it's hard to beat Jeff's voice, really, isn't it? But Catatonia is certainly is about as good as you could get if it wasn't Jeff Buckley, really. So this song, I think, is written by Anders and Jonas, and the drumming on it is one of the sort of standout features to me. And it's weird because I've just pulled up Wikipedia before I started recording here, and it says here that is it Dan Swano or Swano? I'm not sure how to pronounce his second name, but I know him from Witherscape. He's playing the drums as a session musician. I actually always thought it was Jonas that played the drums on this. I don't know where I got that from, but there you go. That's what it says on Wikipedia anyway. So there's only really like a four-piece here with Jonas on vocals, Anders on guitars, keyboards, backing vocals, Frederick on bass, and Dan on the drums. But the reason why I've chosen this one to start with Catatonia is because I'm sure I'll revisit Catatonia at some point. But this song has a special place. The first two songs off this album, really, I remember. I guess it was because at the time I was playing in like a death metal band, and I was the drummer of the band, a local band here, in Northern Ireland. And I was the youngest member by probably 3 or 4 years. I think I was only maybe 16 or something like that in the band. The rest of the guys were 19, 20 sort of age. So, you know, they were into a lot of sort of more underground bands than I was. And sort of, I remember being picked up in the car and brought to the band recording sessions. And this album was one of the tracks I remember being blasted. I was sitting in the back seats with a big, Boy Racer speakers, but we weren't blasting out dance trance anthems like yo. It was full on black nail polish, So good memories. And I was like, yeah, who's this band? And then that was it, Catatonia. And I've since seen them live a couple of times since. I've seen them on the Viva, was it Viva Emptiness tour? I think it was Viva Emptiness. Yeah, I've seen them in Dublin. Great. Right, so let's get into this, eh? If you do happen to enjoy this video, guys, please do like, subscribe, comment below your thoughts on the song if you know it or if this is your first time hearing it. And hopefully my camera stays in focus. I'm having no luck with this thing, so if I'm starting to move around, it's probably just to try and take the bad look off it, but it's a nightmare, this thing. Make sure you have a look in the description there and you'll see that I have my own music you might be interested in, Patreon, buy me a coffee, all that sort of stuff there, you know. But anyway, hopefully you enjoy this. And without further ado, let's get going. we go. It's hard. It's hard. Um, so lyrics. Tonight I am nothing. It doesn't matter where I've been. Delay of reaction is the unseen movie of this life. I remember one of my friends telling me to go ahead. Water on every side, there's a dead spot in my eye. If I listen close at night, there's something coming my way. Like someone called my name, but I didn't care to look that way. I just fixed my eyes into the crowd. It would have been strange to turn around. If you would tell me that I was someone, then for a second I would think, just like I would try to consider how it would feel to know. I have to get on with this. It's a decision for tonight. Out to look for chances. It is murder of my mind. Once I was someone new. I was chosen for a while. Then with time, I am changing. At least that is what they say. What is worth with being here? I pray so often for a change. Yep. Nice cheery stuff. Great stuff, eh? Talking about emotions in front of a camera. Awkward. So one of the things I love about this sort of period of Catatonia, I know they sort of changed as they got on a little bit, and I still love their more current stuff, but this period in particular has this sort of, there's like a sort of impending doom in the music because there's something about the way it drives. It's like, to me, it makes me think of like a slow train coming, and that in itself is, I don't know, is that the sort of metaphor, if you like, of like ultimately depression? That feeling of just the constant, ugh, it's just constant. There's something about the embodiment of the music in this. I don't know. It's because of the sort of straightforward, the beats and things. Like back when I first listened to this like all the components of this shouldn't have worked for what I was into. I was into sort of Cradle of Filth, and that's just the first band I can think of off the top of my head at this period where I was listening to, extreme. Uh, and like I said, it was drumming. I kind of wanted to hear from a drummer. Lots of stuff going on. The technical stuff was really speaking out to me back then. And so usually when I heard a band where like something was straight, it was just like, it's boring. The Catatonia were one of the first bands that was an asset. The style of the drumming and the sort of da na 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 na, the repetitive nature of the sort of this here kind of thing. It was the first time I realized that that can be used to really portray the emotion. At least I think that's what's happening. I'm trying to explain how I feel when I'm listening to it. There's this sort of dread. I don't know, just for whatever reason it connects with me. I'm not going to make this too much of an outpouring about me, but I'm sure if you're a fan of Catatonia, you're probably of a particular mindset that we might all share, should we say? So yeah, like right from the start, nothing fancy, just the single notes were in C sharp minor. I might have to turn this down a little bit. Okay, will not affect you, don't worry. So the chord progression we got really at the beginning is C. We've got this sort of fifth, like a C sharp minor chord. I think it's like an F sharp minor over a C sharp because we've still got that pedal note. roughly something like that. You notice that bass just bass stays still. We've got this lovely decoration on the top. The guitar just strums, highlights, while we've got the other rhythm guitar part sort of just doubling up the bass kind of thing. We get that, like I say, there's something about that, just this momentum that's coming towards you. There's also the way the drums are played for the most part. Even though there's very dynamic drumming throughout the song and a great mix, I love the rawness. There's a real sort of blend between raw and sheen in this album. But with the rawness of the drums, you can really hear the dragging of the beat. I think that also helps get that, there's forward momentum in the music. Like all music is forward momentum. You start and there's a pulse and it's always forward. But there's a conflict, there's a struggle within this, in that it's not just it's not played exactly on the beat. It's not played ahead of the beat. It feels like it's dragging. Let's see, how do we do this in one person? It's very difficult to do, to try and keep one hand in time and the other hand dragging. Something like that. We can feel it. There's some of the snares sound like late, not out of time, but late, and that creates such a conflict of that forward backwards. It's masterful, really. Hear the flute on the hi-hat too. I don't know whether it's my headphones playing up or if there's anything going on with this particular recording, but I'm hearing Jonas. He doesn't sound dead center to me. He sounds like he's just ever so slightly to the left. Like maybe panning 20% or something into the left channel. There's my camera way out of focus. Of course it is. But there's nothing in the music here that makes me think that there's something wrong with the audio. The audio sounds fine. So I think he's slightly off to the left there. Yeah, let's push on. Oh, the melody. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of suspensions being used in the melody here. We get like fourths and seconds a lot. So in this scale, it would be the D sharp and the F sharp. So we get, if you're in, which is the second or the ninth. You could think of it as the ninth as well. That would be the fourth if you're in the B major. So there's the twos and the fours, which is not on the main triad, the 3, the 5, or even the 7. I think it's that slight dissonance within the melody that again contributes to this sort of melancholy of what we've got. See, finishing on the if I was to bring that root note up, that's those two notes together. You can hear it's a dissonance. But when you separate them so far away with the voice and the bass, that's beautiful to me, that dissonance. This, I can still get behind that, but this is better. Love Me a Minor 9. Great energy. That's such a slow, like dirge. Listen to how far apart the snare drums are. da 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 da. But because of the energy in the drums with all the cymbals and the kicks, I don't feel like da 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 da. I feel like da 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 da. You know. Let's go back a little bit actually. That's not bad. This intense energy. Now I would feel that's amazing because it's essentially the same beat, and you know, the snare isn't being played more often or less often than the verse or the chorus, but because of the energy, we feel this lift of intensity, and then not relaxing, but despair. That's maybe a better word. Okay, let's push on. I remember one of my friends telling me to go ahead. Obviously, there's a few things in there. There's a lot of harmonics being used in the guitar, da da da, dee dee. Here in the, you know, the famous Machine Head. You know, we get those all the time in Machine Head riffs back in this sort of time, like. But I think we're into F sharp there. Yeah, so. Something like that. There's also like a counter melodic line up at the very top of the guitar. I think it's a guitar with effects, could be a keyboard. Oh, it's a guitar, isn't it? Listen to the left. It's high up in the left. It's like. It's doing something like that. I remember one of my friends telling me to go ahead. Minor third harmony there. There is a dead spot in my heart. If I listen close at night, harmonies. There's something coming my way. Actually, that's just a double. The harmonies must be later. There's something coming my way. Yeah. Like someone called my name, but I didn't care to look that way. I just fixed my dragging the beat. Now I would pick up. There's that momentum coming to get you. It's just the production, the feeling, the way this has all been captured live, it's so tangible. You can feel the despair and melancholy is just oozing out of it. There's nothing clinical about it at all, whatever way they recorded this. It's superb. So what's the chord progression? So you get C sharp minor to the G sharp minor to E major. Now the E major almost sounds like a major 7 because Jonas is singing this note at times, which is the D sharp. It's a and then we get to F sharp minor, and then back. So something like that. The ornamentation, they get da, 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 da. Something like this going on with Anders. Back to being stark. Maybe a bit of a strange comparison to make, like, but there's something about the drum beat with those toms. It's got an Enter Sandman kind of vibe, hasn't it? Just the style, you know, but way better than Enter Sandman. Sorry, Metallica fans. I think it's the fact that in the drums you can hear the emotion there. I'm not no longer drawing comparisons with Metallica, by the way. What I mean is it's toms, snare, and kick. But from the little bit of information I know about Dan Swano, is he's not just a drummer. Not that there's to say, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with just a drummer, but he's got like a producer's kind of mind. So you would imagine that regardless of what instrument he jumps on, he knows the effect that instrument has in the overall feel of everything, you know. Of course, the drummer doesn't just provide a beat. There's emotion in drums, but not every drummer can get that across. There's some great technical drummers that they don't move you in the same way, you know. So it's incredible to me that you can take a beat that's so straightforward, and yet the beat on the drums sounds as sort of sad and integral as the likes of the bass or the guitar. They're all there, you know. It's emotion everywhere.
I have to get on with this. It's a decision for tonight. Out to look for chances.
Here's the harmonies.
It is murder of my mind. Once I was someone new. I was chosen for a while. Then with time,
Great drumming. Very idiosyncratic.
at least I what he say. If you would tell me that I was someone for a second, I would think just like I would try to consider.
Nobody's trying to do anything fancy here. It's just emotion. You know, there's so much restraint in that, because that to just keep that. That's not easy to do. You know, the temptation is to do some sort of decoration on that bass line. So the fact that they're able to just be like, no, that's going to ruin it. Just keep it straight.
If you would tell me that I was someone for a second, I would think just like I would try to consider how it would feel to know.
It's like sort of static electricity or something in there, and that left, or like radio interference coming from a UFO. Yeah, so he's outlining the C sharp minor chord. So I think I've got it. There's again playing with those dissonances, resolution. Very simple, but really, really effective. There's a nice delay on that too. You can hear the notes doubling up as they're delayed. This stuff just feeds my soul. Like. How it would feel to know if you would tell me that I was someone for a second. I would think just like I would try to conceal how it would feel to know. Yeah, he finishes on the minor third. So got to do more Katatonia, eh guys? Which one next? Which one next? Hope you enjoyed this, and like I said, please do subscribe and ring the bell and comment and stuff if you happen to enjoy this stuff. And there's Patreon. Would love it for you to check out some of my music if you could. I'm not saying I sound like Katatonia, but they're a big influence. Let's put it that way. Being a big influence on what the stuff I write. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you all next time.